Yeah, I mean, you're starting to see guys show up, and Ennis Rakestraw being one of those. He drafted, very good player, and now you're getting to see him in live action with pads, and he is a player that put pads on, and you'll start to see what he can truly be. I mean, here's the interception. I'm going to play it for you guys here, and this was posted on their Twitter here. But check this out. Let me get this on screen. Just if this guy's doing this, he's going to be on the field a whole lot. So check this out. We'll put this on. But I mean, you have a guy like Ennis Rakestraw just going out there making plays. I mean, it is again the second team. He picked Hendon Hooker off, but here's Terran Arnold going up, dapping him up, celebrating, but making plays. He also forced a fumble, which I'll show on screen now, so you guys can see that. Let me pull that up real quick so we can see it. Okay. Here's the forced fumble because it's not just interceptions. I mean, he's forcing just turnovers in general. But here, let me get this on screen for you guys. Okay, so here's the forced fumble. I mean, look at this. I mean, there you go. Incompletion. Ennis Rakestraw, fellas.
Is that on Kennedy?
What are you laughing at, Boone?
Nothing, bro. You said a forced fumble, so I thought he was running the ball in here, and it was just like a pass. It's called that, Jeff. That's a pass breakup. That's a great pass breakup.
Okay. I'm going to be honest. I realize that now. But you get the point. He's playing
well. Yeah. I was just funny.
You get the point. He's playing well. Fellas, we might see Ennis Rakestraw, what he can be, way sooner than maybe we predicted. And I don't know, this the secondary in general, it's deep. I don't know how much you'll see of him this year. But by the way, he did get a forced fumble. That wasn't the video, though.
All right.
So that's fair. To be fair, can I confirm that?
The video really threw me off a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, the video
I was like waiting for it.
But he did have a forced fumble. I will confirm that. He did. I did read about that.
I'm interested real quick, too, because Klotz talked a lot about Rakestraw when we drafted him. About him being in the nickel and as well as potentially, and he's been playing outside a little bit. So my thought with Rakestraw, I had the comment early on about Terrion Arnold and comparing Terrion Arnold to Brian Branch, to where, hey, like Brian Branch last year, you're sitting there in camp and he's going up against CJ Gardner-Johnson and you can't take Brian Branch off the field. You're like, I have to keep this guy on the field. And I made that comment that was going to be Terrion Arnold this offseason, to where you can't take Terrion off the field. And it sounds like Terrion's running first team snaps, but in the second team, you've got a guy named Ennis Rakestraw who is making plays everywhere, not just today, but yesterday and every single day of practice so far, whether it's a forced fumble, interception, pass break, like everything. He is all over the field. So it's starting to feel like a little bit that both of these rookies are two guys who it's like, it's going to be hard to keep these guys off the field. So the thing with Klotz, I'm interested to hear your take too with this, just because like the fit for him, because you have Terrion and Carlton Davis. Let's say you have those two. I heard Amik Robertson talk to the media today, and he actually mentioned, and he said it, like, I know Amik tweeted out that he didn't want to be a depth piece, but he was honest, and he was like, I know I'm in a battle right now for a nickel with Rakestraw and with Mosley. And he was like, I'm very, very aware with that. And he was like, we're coming out to compete every day. In Rakestraw is going out there and absolutely dominating the battle right now. And we're going to see more tomorrow. I'm interested. Like, do you think he gets that? Or like, how is that rotation going to work if Rakestraw, you're like, I can't take this guy off the field?
I mean, I think it's going to be Rakestraw's position. And it's going to be, at some point, he's going to be that guy in the nickel. And I think this is going to be great competition. I think Rakestraw is probably going to get a lot of snaps in preseason compared to Emmanuel Mosley and Amik Robertson too. But as the season starts, I still think when you look at guys like Emmanuel Mosley and Amik Robertson, like those guys have been around and they're not just going to let a rookie take their spot. As talented as Ennis Rakestraw will be, especially in the nickel spot, in the slot, because he knows how to hit people too. Like when the pads come on, that's why you're hearing about Ennis Rakestraw now, because he can smack people around. He can use his physicality. And I think it almost benefits him if he doesn't play right away, because he played outside at Missouri, the perimeter corner, so he has the coverage skills. Watch guys like Emmanuel Mosley, who have also played outside and get moved to nickel, and he's played at a high level in big games. So if he doesn't start right away, I'm not worried at all. I don't think anybody should be, because that's just going to make him a more fundamentally sound player when they do want to play him in playoff games and situations in big moments in primetime games. So I think Ennis Rakestraw, he's going to be a stud for the Detroit Lions inside the slot, but he doesn't have to play right away. Let him develop a little bit, and if you got to throw him out there, I have full confidence in him, just because he's one of those Brad Holmes type of picks where you can tell he's just a football player. So I'm excited to see what this guy can do, especially against smaller wide receivers.
Terrion and Ennis are two opposite, at least personalities. Terrion's more, he's an extrovert, and then Ennis is more introverted, but they both have like the same confidence. And I think Terrion lets you know about it, but sure. Ennis kind of doesn't, but he's still like, he even said when he was talking to the media, he's like first of many, like he's talking about his interception. He's like first of many. And he even said also that he prefers fumbles over interceptions.
He's a dog.
He said you might get stiff arm to the ground, but as long as the ball's out, that's all that matters. And he prefers forcing fumbles. Like, I think they both play with a certain level of confidence, and that makes me excited because it's Terrion. We already expect him to be CB2 and be a great player, but I think for Ennis, we expect things out of him. But man, he is kind of a dark horse to be more of an impact player this year than I think maybe people are thinking about, because he's so quiet. He kind of is more reserved, but man, on the field, it's kind of like Jack Campbell. Like, Jack Campbell doesn't really talk a lot, but when he's out there, you're like, this dude is an absolute animal. That's kind of Ennis Rakestraw. From
Junkyard dog.
Yeah. What's Booner? Are you raising your hand? What?
Got something?
Hi, Booner.
No, yeah. You know what?
Turn,
I think a good comparison, and let's take away. I just want to be like full. Let's take away maybe the talent or the what this player did last year for the Detroit Lions. I'm going to compare him a little bit when it comes to that to Brian Branch. And I know I've made this comparison before, but Brian Branch, you guys remember early on when we did mock drafts for Ennis Rakestraw, everyone kept coming on our show and telling us Ennis Rakestraw is a first-round corner. Look at Ennis Rakestraw at 29. Like, this is a guy you guys need to have on your team. And we were all like, yeah, I don't know about Ennis. He's hurt. He's always hurt. But when this guy's not hurt and he's healthy, and I've taken a whole 180 on this guy. That he's an absolute dog, and he drops all the way to the second round. Guess who else dropped from who was supposed to be a first-round pick and dropped all the way to the second round? Brian Branch. So, now both of those guys, like Brian Branch, came in with a chip on his shoulder from Bama. Knew he was a dog, the best safety in the class. Ennis Rakestraw comes now in with a chip on his shoulder, being like, I should have been a first-round corner. Like, I should have been in that position. Like, that I should not have dropped as far as I did. And Brian Branch, a little quieter, introverted. Like, he's not going to go out there and talk a ton. Like, he will if he has to, but he's not going to go out of his way to do it. Ennis Rakestraw, same exact way. And guess what position he's looking to fill? He's looking to fill what Brian Branch did last year for this football team. So, like, hey, the stars start to align. You start to see you're starting to see something. And last year, do you guys remember Brian Branch started training camp? Everyone was like, this guy is unbelievable. He's making plays, he's getting interceptions, forced fumbles. What is Ennis Rakestraw doing now? He's the talk of town right now. And it's like deja vu going on. Everything about it feels the same. And Mike Bell put out, I feel like Brian Branch has his higher ceiling, or ceiling was higher. Like, yeah, that was why I started off with, like, talent-wise, let's take that out of it, but let's just look at the dogness of it all and, like, the storyline. Dogness. Honestly, I think there's a good conversation to be had with that.
I don't know if dogness is a word, but I like it. We're going to keep it.
New adjective.
That's got to be some, if
that's
you're evaluating.
The Booner dictionary.
Yeah.
Put it on his shirt.
Yeah, put it. Yeah. Yeah. That, you know what? Gentry. That's why you're always cooking. Yeah. Dogness. I like that, Boone. I actually like that comparison in terms of, I get what you're saying. Like, where they were, because we weren't a huge fan of Rakestraw in the first round, but we loved him in the second. I mean, we were cool with him in the second, but first round, obviously Terrion Arnold going back-to-back corners. But yeah, he's going to.
Would you guys be surprised if he's starting at some, like, it takes the starting nickel spot? Let's say, like, let's not say week 1 maybe, but let's say by like week 6, week 7, it's like, hey, this guy's just that good, and like, hey, now he's got the starting. Like, I would not be shocked. Would I be shocked in week 1 if he is? No, I wouldn't be, to be honest.
I'd be shocked week 1. I'd probably be surprised like week 7 or 8. But you talk about like week 12, 13. I wouldn't be surprised at all, because that's going to help him injury-wise to put out a rookie out there when you have veterans playing. And I think he just brings a different speed to the game. And especially, I think to your point, Booner, Brian Branch, to your point, Jeff, with Jack Campbell, is just guys that have a knack and a nose to get to the football. And it's like wherever the play is, they're around and they're trying to inflict pain. And I think that's exactly why We talk about the perfect complement to Brian Branch is Kirby Joseph, and the perfect complement to Terrion Arnold is going to be Ennis Rakestraw. So I think there's going to be a lot of duos to watch out for, especially as this team gets better.
Yeah, and we can all agree, and even to JT Olson, shout out Jeff. We're not comparing the prospect in terms of the talent, because Brian Branch should have been a top 15 pick, like easily. But what you're saying is a player that I think more his like aura. Brian Branch is he's quiet. He's not chirping.
Yes, both projected first round players. Both.
I don't even know if that's the right word for it, but we're going with aura.
Demeanor.
His demeanor. Love that, Klotzy. How about that?
There you go. Good vocab word.
And I still would be surprised if Ennis was starting week 1, to kind of double back on what Lucas said, but we got to give a shout out to Scott, because you remember when Scott came on, he like his first week on, he projected or was one of the players that he wanted for the Lions was Ennis Rakestraw, and we kind of all sweeped it away. So, hey, we got to give a shout out to Scott, because he plugged us early on and he called out him being a dog.